If your lavender came back thin, woody, or barely bloomed last year, it might not be bad luck. It might be one small cutting mistake you made without even realizing it. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Lavender doesn't forgive the way most plants do. Cut it wrong just once, and you're not looking at a slightly smaller bloom this year. You could be looking at a bare, woody stump that never produces flowers again. And the wild part? Most people make this mistake with the best intentions. They see an overgrown lavender bush, grab their shears, and go to town, thinking more cutting means more blooms next season. It doesn't. It's actually the opposite. Today, we're going to fix that for good. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when to prune your lavender, exactly where to cut, and exactly how much to remove so your plant comes back fuller, healthier, and covered in blooms next year, not bare and struggling. We're going to walk through this step by step in plain, simple language. No confusing garden jargon. No guesswork. Just a clear, repeatable method you can use every single year on every lavender plant you own. And here's the best part. Once you learn this one time, it takes you about 10 minutes a season. That's it. 10 minutes, twice a year, for a plant that rewards you with silvery foliage, that beautiful fragrance, and armfuls of purple blooms all summer long. This is what stress-free gardening looks like. Small, smart actions that save you from big problems later. If you've ever looked at your lavender in late summer and thought, should I cut this back or just leave it alone? You are absolutely not alone. It's one of the most common questions we hear, and it makes sense why it's confusing. Lavender doesn't behave like your average garden shrub. Cut a rose bush too hard, and it usually bounces back fine. Do the same thing to lavender, and you might be waiting years to see it recover, if it ever does. That's exactly why this channel exists. We're not here to make gardening feel like a science exam. We're here to give you the simple, smart shortcuts that get real results, without the stress, the guesswork, or the wasted plants. So let's get into it. Before we get to the biggest mistake, the one that can silently kill entire sections of your plant, I want you to stick around for the shaping technique near the end. It's the one trick most home gardeners never learn, and it's the difference between lavender that looks like a scraggly weed and lavender that looks like it belongs in a magazine. Let's start with the most important factor of all, timing. Tip 1. Timing is everything. Quick question. Have you ever pruned your lavender in the fall, right before winter hit? If you have, don't worry. It's one of the most common times people reach for their shears, because the plant looks a little tired and messy after summer. But fall is actually the one time you should leave it alone. Here's why. Lavender relies on its late-season growth as a kind of natural shield. That slightly untidy, overgrown look going into winter isn't a flaw. It's protection. That growth insulates the base of the plant, called the crown, and helps it survive frost and freezing temperatures. When you prune in the fall, you strip away that shield right before the plant needs it most. Worse, freshly cut stems are more vulnerable to frost damage than mature growth. You're essentially leaving open wounds right as the cold moves in. So when should you actually prune? 2 windows work well. The first is right after flowering, typically in late summer. The second is in early spring, just as you start to see fresh new growth appearing at the base. Picture this. Instead of a straggly, frost-damaged plant in spring, you get a lavender bush that wakes up strong, fills out evenly, and starts producing healthy new stems right on schedule. The simple action step here is easy to remember. Mark your calendar. Plan your main prune for right after the blooms fade in late summer, and save any light tidy up for early spring. Never after that. Never in fall. Tip 2. Never cut into old wood. This next one is the big one. This is the mistake in our title. The one wrong cut that can genuinely ruin next year's blooms, and sometimes ruin that branch permanently. Here's what's happening on your lavender plant right now, even if you've never noticed it. Look closely at the stems. Near the top, you'll see green, soft, flexible growth. That's new growth. But lower down, closer to the base, the stems turn brown, thick, and stiff. That's old wood. This distinction matters more than almost anything else in lavender care. Most lavender varieties have a very limited ability to regenerate from old, woody stems. If you cut into that brown, woody section, that branch often will not grow back. Not this year. Sometimes not ever. Imagine spending years growing a full, healthy lavender bush. Then one aggressive pruning session leaves half of it as bare, lifeless sticks poking out of the ground. That's what happens when this rule gets ignored. The good news is the fix is simple. Always leave at least an inch or two of green growth on every single stem you cut. Think of that green section as your safety zone. As long as your cut lands there, the plant will respond by pushing out fresh growth right below the cut. Picture the result. Instead of gaps and dead sticks next spring, you get a plant that's evenly covered in soft new shoots, ready to bloom right on schedule. Simple action step. Before every cut, pause and check. Green growth. Safe to cut. Brown woody stem. Move your shears up until you're back in the green. Now, here's something most people don't expect. Even if you avoid old wood completely, there's still a way to shock your lavender and hurt next year's blooms. It has nothing to do with where you cut. It's about how much you cut. Let's talk about that next. Tip 3. The 1/3 rule. It's tempting to give an overgrown lavender bush a dramatic makeover in one afternoon. But even a perfectly placed cut, done too aggressively, can set your plant back. This is where the 1/3 rule comes in. As a general guide, avoid removing more than about a third of the plant in a single pruning session. Why does this matter so much? Pruning is a form of stress for any plant. Removing too much at once forces the lavender to redirect a huge amount of energy into recovery, instead of into producing strong roots, healthy foliage, and next season's flower buds. Even if every cut you made was technically correct, an overly aggressive prune can leave you with a smaller, weaker bloom the following year. Think of it like this. A light haircut keeps hair healthy and encourages growth. Shaving it all off forces a long, slow regrowth process. Your lavender responds the same way. Picture the outcome. Instead of a stressed, sparse plant struggling to recover, you get steady, manageable growth and a full flush of blooms right on time next season. The simple action step is to eyeball your plant before you start and mentally divide it into thirds. Prune conservatively, stop, and assess. You can always take a little more next time. You can't put growth back once it's gone. Tip 4. Shape as you go, don't wait. Here's a mistake that happens gradually, so it's easy to miss until it's a real problem. A lot of people skip pruning for a season or two, thinking they're giving the plant a break. But lavender that isn't pruned regularly doesn't just get bigger. It gets leggy, opens up in the middle, and starts splitting apart at the base. Once that happens, it's incredibly hard to fix. Remember tip 2, you can't cut into old wood and expect regrowth. So if your lavender has gone years without shaping, most of what needs trimming back may now be woody, unproductive growth that simply won't respond to a corrective cut. The fix is light, consistent maintenance. 2 prunes a year, 1 after flowering, 1 in early spring. Keeps the plant compact, encourages fresh green growth throughout, and prevents that hollow, splitting open look. Picture the difference, a dense, rounded, healthy-looking shrub versus a spread-out, floppy plant with a bald patch in the center. The gap between those two outcomes is just a few minutes of maintenance, twice a year. Simple action step. Put 2 reminders on your calendar right now, 1 for late summer, 1 for early spring. That's the entire system. Let's pause here for a quick common mistake check, because this one trips up even experienced gardeners. Using dull, worn-out shears. It seems minor, but it isn't. Dull blades don't cut cleanly. They crush and tear the stem instead. That damaged, ragged edge is far more vulnerable to disease and fungal infection than a clean cut. The fix takes 30 seconds. Before you prune, wipe your blades clean and make sure they're sharp. A clean, precise cut heals faster and keeps your plant healthier overall. Tip 5. The mound-shaping technique. Now here's the trick I mentioned earlier, the one that separates good-looking lavender from great-looking lavender. When you prune, don't just chop the top flat or trim randomly. Shape the plant into a rounded mound, almost like a dome. This isn't just about appearance, although it does look beautiful. That domed shape allows sunlight to reach more of the plant evenly, and it improves airflow around the stems. Better airflow means lower humidity sitting inside the plant, which significantly reduces the risk of fungal problems, something lavender is naturally prone to if it stays damp and crowded. Picture your lavender not as a flat, uneven bush, but as a neat, rounded silver-green mound that later fills with purple blooms from every angle, evenly, all the way around. Simple action step. As you prune, work your way around the plant, trimming to follow a gentle curve, slightly shorter at the edges and slightly fuller in the middle. You don't need to be exact. Just aim for round, not flat. Here's the tip that might surprise you the most, and it's an important one to hear because it can save you a lot of frustration. Sometimes, lavender is too far gone to save through pruning alone. If a plant has gone years without maintenance, and most of the stem structure has turned to bare, woody growth with little or no green left, there may not be enough healthy tissue left to cut back to. In that case, no amount of careful pruning technique will bring it back to a full, healthy shape. This isn't a failure on your part. Lavender naturally has a lifespan, especially when it's gone unpruned for a long time. Even with perfect care, most lavender plants tend to become woody and less productive after 5 to 10 years. If you're looking at a plant that's mostly bare stems with just a little green fuzz on top, the honest, stress-free answer is sometimes to let it go and replace it. A fresh, young lavender plant, cared for with everything we just covered, will reward you far faster than trying to rescue one that's already past the point of recovery. Let's bring this all together. Prune after flowering or in early spring, never in fall. Always stay in the green growth, never cut into old wood. Remove no more than a third of the plant at once. Keep up with light pruning twice a year instead of waiting. Use clean, sharp tools. Shape into a rounded mound for better sun and airflow. And if a plant is too far gone, it's okay to start fresh. That's it. That's the entire system. No complicated techniques, no guesswork, no wasted seasons. This is exactly what stress-free gardening is all about. A few small, smart decisions made at the right time, instead of a lot of effort made in the wrong direction. Follow this approach, and your lavender will reward you year after year with fuller growth, healthier stems, and more blooms than ever. If this video helped clear up the confusion around pruning lavender, do me a favor and hit subscribe. This channel is all about giving you simple, low-effort gardening tips that actually work, so you can spend less time worrying over your plants and more time enjoying them. I'd love to know, which of these tips are you going to try first? Are you switching your pruning timing, or is the mound-shaping technique the one you're most excited about? And if you've ever made the old wood mistake yourself, drop a comment and let me know what happened. You might be surprised how many other gardeners have been right where you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.